All right, Mike Hackett here, Joe Militello, and Brian LeFeve coming at you on a Form First podcast tonight. Brian here is the #1 ranked Syphus trainer at St. Clair Shores and across the board. So #1 out of 636 people at St. Clair Shores, and first ranked out of 3,439 across the board, which is, that's incredible. Just to put that into perspective, if you know our scoring systems from 1 to 1,000, he's off the charts. He's scoring his 30 days at 1060, his seasonal boulder is a 1045, and his career is a 1044. And the last couple of years, just a 3-year snapshot of the workouts that he's done, 142. He's completed 108 of those workouts. And that's 34. Only 34 times in his last 3 years has he not completed a workout, which is absolutely crazy and phenomenal. And because of him, actually, starting next month, per his request, because he comes usually on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we're adding extra circuits to each Monday, Wednesday, Friday workout for an extra little incentive for you to continue your workouts. Cool. So. Yeah, so some people are not going to be able to finish who are used to finishing like a 900, but that's going to give people who, like you and Leah and people like that who want that extra push.
Or want to work out for an hour.
Or want to work out for
exactly. Yeah, so, I feel guilty stopping sometimes. I'm like,
that's just it. Like for you, man, it's like you're able to finish a workout with 10, sometimes 15 minutes left. And very few, I don't think I've ever had a request for extra exercises, other than you and maybe Susie's done it. Because sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, oh man, do they enjoy actually finishing, or would they prefer to go for the 55?
It depends how we feel too.
Right.
I mean, there's times where we're exhausted and there's no way we can continue, and there's times where I feel great and I want to continue. I want to keep going.
Right.
And then I feel guilty that if I don't, because people are like, oh, you didn't get a full workout. Well, I pushed it hard, so I consider that a full,
It's definitely a full workout. Yeah. You're just condensing everything everybody else does in less time.
Right. I want to say something first real quick. I want to thank you for this designing Syphus.
I
think it's just one of the just amazing workout. It really is. And it pushes me. And I want to thank you both for doing this podcast because I think it's awesome. Yeah, cool. I tune in just to listen to everything because I love Syphus and to see what you're wearing. I love your apparel today, man. Good job.
Thanks. Spot on.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And I was telling you off air, this is like the highlight of my week. Just coming on here, just talking about Syphus, or wherever the conversation takes us. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of like a new avenue that we're kind of pushing, and it seems to be well received by the people.
I think it's great. I mean, I love tuning into it. Sweet. Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks. Well, you kind of mentioned his shirt. That's a Wabi. Well, Brian's also the proprietor of Great Lakes Surf Shop, and then also
Great Lakes Kiteboarding School, which is actually a kiteboarding school which I started in 2002.
2002.
And it kind of morphed into Great Lakes Surf Shop.
Okay.
So.
Well, let's dive into there a little bit.
Surf.
Well, surf into it. Surf and turf. I've always said if I ever get a boat, I'm going to name it Surf and Turf. But that's a pipe dream. So when you started the surf shop, like what kind of led you to it? Were you always into like water sports, and how'd you get into it?
Yeah, well, it kind of started as real quick on my background.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that my parents were very active and they're competitive. Mm-hmm. They've ran marathons, they've done bicycling. My mom's actually a senior gold medalist.
Oh, really?
In the Olympics, yeah.
Oh,
so she does senior Olympics.
Okay.
And she's a biker, and she's 67. So, yeah, it's incredible. So, fortunately, since I was little, 8, 9 years old, I was running 3Ks. I was doing cross-country skiing. So, I was at a competitive nature growing up.
I could see that.
And not even, knowing that this is something I want to get into.
Right.
So, I was fortunate enough to have them kind of push me into that realm of competition, you know. And then growing up, our summers were spent on the water on Lake Huron. And I saw someone windsurfing when I was 10 years old. I'm like, I have to do that. And they ended up getting windsurfing equipment. Got into windsurfing, loved it. Started teaching on the side up in a place called Kego Harbor, which is a shop called the Windsurf Company. This was way back in the day, 20-some years ago. And they asked me to start working for them, and then like teaching windsurfing, things like that. And then I started working for them as a manager. And that's how it all kind of evolved,
Wow.
just getting into the active sports that I do. So.
Wow. So, I mean, I can relate to you because you kind of pursued your passion.
Yeah.
I mean, and it takes a leap of faith to do that, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I mean, there's highs
Lots
and lows.
of, yeah.
You know, but so that's essentially what you did. Is this was your passion, and did you just kind of just go for it, or did you?
I did. I was actually a paramedic, and
Really?
I was a paramedic for 5 years, and I decided, well, I'm going to start helping with this company because it was my passion. I was teaching windsurfing on the side, and they're like, we want a manager, we want to grow our company, and I'm like, if you can pay me the same rate I'm getting paid as a paramedic, they're like, absolutely.
Wow.
So what I did is I ended up starting working for them, and it kind of grew. And then in 89, is it 89, 90, the first kite came about. Okay, so this is kind of how I got into kiteboarding. So they sent us to the shop, and we basically killed ourselves trying to learn the sport. There's nobody knew anything about it. We just went out there and tried to do it ourselves.
Okay.
And once I learned, which actually was kind of crazy, I learned on snow. So we tried on the water. It was very, very difficult. I mean, we're lucky to be walking today. And then it was the winter of I can't remember the date now. But anyways, so we went out in Cass Lake, almost a full moon, snow covered, and we decided let's try snow kiting. You know, we couldn't figure it out on water. Let's try it in the snow.
Yeah.
It took us an hour. We figured it out. We were out there till 3 in the morning.
Really?
We just loved it. So I got hooked. Started doing it. My friend, hey, can you teach me? That friend said, can you teach me? I'm like, okay, you know what? I got to turn this into a business.
Right.
And I started doing it on the side.
So and was this for snow or
for
both?
kiteboarding on water?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So basically, and we did it for both. So I started Great Lakes kiteboarding. We started doing lessons up in Tawas, which is really one of the best spots in Michigan
used
for
to go there all the time,
kiteboarding.
yeah.
It's a mecca for it, and did the snow kiting in the winters and stuff, and then it kind of evolved, man. It just kind of started snowballing and got very popular. There's no other schools around in Michigan. I just kept at it, and my passion is teaching. I love teaching.
Yes.
I mean, you know that.
Yeah,
I mean, you are too, and you guys both are, man. I mean, that it's a passion. I mean, you love the rewards of what you get from teaching somebody and stoking them out in the same passion that you have. So.
And then I mean, you probably can relate to this, but then when you teach other people to teach, and you see how they teach, I mean, it's like an extra.
It is,
Yeah.
absolutely, man,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So like, what brought you on this side of town? Did you always kind of see this area and say like, this would be a great spot to,
Yeah, well, I wanted to be close to the water, and I actually moved into North Sales Loft. If you guys know where that's at, on Mac. Mac, there's a CVS over there. It's like just down, honestly, just a mile north of 9 Mile here. So
where like the
between 9 and
Pepperoni
10.
Grill is?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's a
okay,
kitty
yeah.
corner. So basically, I shared a space with them, and it grew, and paddleboarding came about.
That's where
about 10 years ago, I actually got hooked on that. I was in the Outer Banks, and I tried it for the first time. And the funny thing is, I'm an adrenaline junkie. I got on, I'm like, this is boring. And then all of a sudden, it was like, I'm paddling, I'm like, I was relaxed. I was like, I didn't think about anything else. And then I'm like, man, I'm getting a full body workout at the same time.
You totally did.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is incredible. So start selling it, and we're bringing them in the shop, and the shop just got too small. I'm like, I got to move. And lo and behold, the spot came up over there.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it was about a year after you opened here.
We opened here in 2012.
Yeah, 2013 I opened that, and I remember driving by here and seeing this place.
That's funny.
Yeah,
And you started pretty soon after, right? I mean, soon after we opened here, I think.
Yeah, 2013 I opened up that place.
Okay,
yeah.
but you started working out here, I think, pretty quickly, didn't you?
Yeah, so what I did is I was paddleboard racing for quite a while, and I always wanted to find a way to kind of improve and get more weight. So I looked into this place, and I looked into CrossFit.
Okay.
And I started doing the research on CrossFit. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not doing CrossFit. I just, the amount of injuries and things like that. And then I looked at this, and I kind of read your review, and I saw your video, and I'm like, this is primal. This is what I want. I want that primal movements. And I knew it would kind of relate to what we're doing on water, because this will give you the stamina and the endurance and things like that. So that was my main thing, is like, okay, try this out. And I don't know if you remember that first day I was here.
Refresh me.
I had a protein shake right before. I didn't know how much cardio was involved with this,
Right,
man.
yeah.
So like every 10 minutes I was in that bathroom.
Really?
It was awful. I was like, oh my gosh, man. Yeah, it was a struggle. So, but I loved it. I really did. It was hard as hell. And I got to admit, for the first month, I had to push myself to come here. I knew I was getting a great workout, but it was hard. You know, I was like, it was like, so But then after that month, I was like, I started enjoying it.
See, but that's a great takeaway for the person who's just starting off. You know, like almost like just keep coming, just keep coming.
That's it. You do.
Yeah.
It's like anything. Repetition. 15 days of doing something, you become more keen on doing it. It's
Right.
easier to do it. You know
Make
what I'm
it
saying?
somewhat habitual.
Exactly.
But we're not saying necessarily 15 days in a row.
No.
Make it part of your-
Yeah, exactly. Part of your regimen. If you do something for that many days in a row, it makes it easier. You know. So.
And I think that's true of pretty much any structured workout. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be here.
No.
You know, whatever it is,
Yeah,
you do,
anything.
just budget it
Anything
into
you
your
want to
workout.
change your routine on,
Yeah.
you got to do it.
Like
Stick to it.
changing potatoes for breakfast.
I didn't do
Yeah.
it. Last
Or-
took 2 days.
So let's kind of digest today's workout. Today's workout was the Winter Games, which is pretty much based on actually one of our members here at St. Clair Shores proposed the idea that we do something based on the Olympics that are unfolding right now. We did a lot of stuff.
Those rings.
The rings are perfectly drawn.
I think your kid wrote that.
So yeah, we did a lot of things that were based on like the skates and moguls and that.
Which was
kind of
cool,
stuff.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, but you ended up finishing. I was going with you today at 9:30. Was it 9:30? Yeah. And we did the gauntleted mountain. And but you'd never done a gauntleted mountain where we have an exercise kind of planted in the middle of a mountain, like a gauntlet, if you're familiar with what that is. And you did it as a checklist, I believe.
I did.
Next thing I know, you're done with 17 minutes, which
Yeah.
is not too far-fetched for you.
Right.
Maybe like a 10, 12-minute finish
Yeah.
would be more appropriate. And then you had already gone through the last circuit, and then I didn't find out till after that you only did it as a checklist.
Yeah, I was listening to Emily actually teach the next class or tell them about the workout. And she's like, "Oh, this is done as a mountain." I'm like, "Ooh, yeah, that is a mountain." So, yeah.
So yeah, it was like, what, 14 exercises.
So I missed about 14 of them. So
But you finished today, right?
Yes.
So
it was a
Yes.
good one.
We
was,
had Anna finish for the first time today.
that was
too,
her
which
first
is
finish?
Awesome.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
sweet. I saw that she had 9-0 something, I
Yeah.
think. Or
Very cool.
Over, yeah. And I mean, that's awesome to see that she finished. It's funny because I was looking at the curl part where it had 4 curls. I'm sure she ate that one up.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And just for me, the frozen checklist part, it was just so slow. It took me a good, I think, 12, 15 minutes to do that.
But you know what's good about that?
Mm.
And you did it like in the middle of kind of the whole scheme of things.
Yeah.
It eliminates lactic acid. You know that.
Yeah.
Going into that squat, which I felt great afterwards.
so did
after
I.
doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Didn't you feel like have energy?
Well, that's what we were talking about, or at least what I was saying at the end of our workout. It was like it was evenly distributed to the point to where you felt like you could hit the cardio when you got to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the strength part, it was not like so overwhelming where you hit such fatigue where you couldn't do a rep.
Right.
You know, and I just like that lower body extremity burn that we get from those crooks
yeah,
or
man.
whatever. I just love that feeling. So
I agree. And it's a rest, man. Cardio rest.
it is a
You know, in a
cardio.
way.
I need
Yeah.
that. I absolutely need that. So
When you guys did frozen sawed off, did you walk backwards?
I didn't. I actually Emily.
I asked Emily that too.
Emily didn't like this, but I was facing away from the clock and I was holding it. I know for a fact I went more than 5 seconds just to make up for it.
And I did those at 8 seconds, by the way. I thought everything was 8.
Oh, you said something. Like, why isn't that 8? I'm like,
because they were all 8, and then
Yeah.
I'm like thinking, well, that's got to be 8 too.
but the
so.
lunge is 5. So did you do 8?
I did 8. Yeah.
More.
Yeah, I did on the shot put gauntlet. I'm pretty sure me and Anna both did an extra shot put after stat curl.
At the end.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
which wasn't necessary. We may not have, but I remember looking up at the clock, realizing that we're going to be able to finish, and I knew she hadn't finished before, so I made sure we got those 6 pushes in, to make sure she finished.
Well, let me ask you both. Which ones did you not do in the freestyle or the ski jump?
Okay, well, that's the other thing too. We did all 10 of
Oh, did you?
freestyle. So
This was a great workout.
yeah,
I think everybody screwed up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that note came after we were already through B. The note for the ski jump doing 6 of 8 came in time for us, but yeah, we did all 10. And then for the ski jump, I'm pretty sure I just went in order because I wasn't trying to read anything.
Yeah.
I just went in
Especially-
order. And for the freestyle, I went from hikes to ape shoot to bully, and then I did the rest in order just because I knew those were the only two things with the plate.
Yeah.
So I got the plate stuff out of the way, and then
I went the other way around. I was like all up top, whatever it was, Sioux Step.
You're going all over in that. I noticed that. Man.
Yeah.
I was like, that would have been confusing for me.
So, well, because I knew what I wasn't going to do.
All right.
I just knew I wasn't going to do bully and I wasn't going to do kobold.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I would have known that, I wouldn't have done it either. Come on. So we basically did 3 extra tasks.
So there you go. It makes up for that. I didn't have to shop with
All the
that.
tasks you didn't do, I did.
Appreciate that, Joe. Thank you.
So you didn't do Infinity, I think, right?
Infinity or V-step. I know those are
V-step.
slow. Yeah. So I decided not to do those. So.
Unbelievable.
And then did you do all the plate pushes at the end? Or?
I started to, and then Emily stopped me and said, "You
Okay.
only need to do partial." So yeah, I
That was a cool take, the change it up of the takeoff.
the different takeoffs.
I liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
cool.
think it was really cool. I mean, it was hard at the end. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're really doing a takeoff, going
But
That's
that's what we
fast,
talked
you
about
know.
before, though. When that's usually always
the finish.
It's always a finishing
Yeah.
task,
Right,
Because
right.
you should be going fast.
But to do 7
Yeah,
6 of them,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was tough.
Generally, who's walking around here?
Yeah, I'd probably go into the.
Let's hope.
I locked the door. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I usually like to finish a workout, especially the people that are gonna finish it. I like to finish it on something fast. Something that you can kind of
I
explosively
love
finish.
that too. Yeah.
You know, it's like running through a finish line with the tape at the finish line.
Absolutely.
I don't want to finish on a lunge, be like done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like sweet. But so yeah, let's talk about kind of like what I really wanted to bring you on for, because we've had several conversations kind of in the lobby after a workout, or usually before because you come early. We spoke to it last week. Is kind of the mind over matter, pushing yourself past limits. You've spoken to, like, I think you've done some studying on the actual idea of it, and I just kind of want to hear like your thoughts and your take, especially how it pertains to Syphus.
Well, as an athlete, in any kind of competition, you're always trying to find an edge, right? I mean, that's what we're always trying to do. So I've always done that with any sport I've been into, is try to find that edge. And also, just it's amazing what the human body is capable of that we do not tap into, and not everybody wants to, of course, but it's possible for us to kind of push through like perceived limits, what we think, because our body is always, or our mind's always going to tell us something different than what our bodies can do. And I know this for a fact. I mean, our bodies can do a lot more than what our mind's telling us, but it's overriding our mindset, So, athletes do certain things, man. I mean, there was a funny story, this Kenyan marathon runner, okay? He was trying to do a marathon in under 2 hours. So he found out that if you're happy toward the end, it's gonna give you a push. So what he would do is the last 5 miles, he'd smile, he'd grin, in those last 5 miles. And it makes you happy, right? And if you're happy, you're gonna actually push yourself harder. If you're pissed and you're doing a task and it's hard, it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
come on, it
right,
does. It
yeah.
does, So, I mean, I think a big thing is just kind of trying to get your mind past that. I try to do certain things. I always try to find certain things. Like Wim Hof is a perfect example. I don't know if you know who this guy is. He's from the Netherlands. He found a way to hack into our body system by doing 2 things: cold therapy, which is either cold showers or submerging yourself in cold, and a breathing exercise. And all that's doing really is breathing exercise is trying to get your pH levels into an alkaline state. Okay, if we're in an acidic state, okay, that's bad. Okay, acidic state, I don't know if you guys know this, that diseases, you're more prone to colds, things like that. So getting our levels at an alkaline state by doing that, by drinking, one is drinking a lot of water, eating the right foods, but even like doing these cold showers or cold therapy, and I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but, athletes have been doing it for years. Yeah. Once the last 2 years I started doing more cold showers and cold therapies, like I don't get sore as much.
So
it's
do
very
you
rare.
do cold showers, or do you have
every
ice
morning?
baths? Or?
Every morning. Yeah, I can't do an ice bath. I just don't have.
No,
it's
no.
Have you ever
really
done the cryo?
Polar plunge?
No, the
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah.
I don't know. I forget
There was
what
one
it's called.
close to the one in Royal.
Yeah, it's like a cryogenic chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done it a few times. I mean, I guess just like anything, you have to keep doing it to
You do to see the
definitely
results.
feel the results.
Yeah.
But it just didn't seem. It was pricey and didn't seem.
Do cold showers.
Yeah, exactly. It's, the
It's
same
free.
thing. I mean, it was a cool experience, but I don't know about doing that in your routine every single day. It's just an extra. It takes. You're only in there for like a minute and a half.
Those are just like, it's like really
yeah.
quick. Not to get off topic, but that bin over there, that was for the pro hockey guys that I used to train. They always wanted to do an ice bath.
Oh,
so
no
I got
kidding.
that thing. We would put it in the bathroom and just fill it up with ice. But
Can we start doing that?
we could, but there was like the frozen water.
You got to fit in that bin? What is
Yeah,
that?
no, yeah,
You got to put your fist in there?
Well, Andy,
small bin.
he's
Amelia,
like
man.
5'8",
Yeah.
you know, fit in this thing. He'd skin me alive if you heard me saying this on a podcast. But yeah, it was for him.
But it's amazing what cold therapy can do. I mean, just list a couple things: improves circulation, relieves depression, healthier for your heart and skin, fat loss. It builds up what we call brown fat, so eliminates fat loss or fat. Strengthens your immunity system. I rarely get colds anymore since I started doing this. Improves sleep, increased testosterone, and increased energy and well-being. I mean, these are things that just everybody can do. You know, and it's just. It's discipline. It's not easy, man. But
well, I know that you can obviously reduce inflammation for sure. What you said about increasing circulation, because I would imagine that like when you're cold, it's making everything constriction. But is it the effect afterwards?
It is. It dilates back up.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Interesting.
Your vessels. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, like today was. In the beginning, I felt like it was cold in my feet. The circulation to my feet, or like, I think it's because I tie my shoes so tight. Like I tie them like hockey skates. Is what it is.
That could be it. No, it's not good.
I just like them to be like on there. But
Yeah.
I can imagine that, or just the vasoconstriction, just trying to alleviate stuff on the joints, inflammation on the joints, the knees. For me, it's the shoulders. I mean, we all got aches and pains.
We do, man.
Especially pushing our bodies the way that we do.
Exactly.
If you've got a physical job, or if you're teaching on the water, any little, like you said, little advantage that you can get to help prime your body for the next day and recover and go back at it. I mean, why not take those?
And you feel the effects of it though.
Yeah.
When you do a cold shower, in the morning, you're energized. Like it wakes you up, but you actually have energy throughout the day, which is quite amazing.
Yeah.
And that's just not me saying this. I mean, do the research, and you'll see it throughout the board. So this Wim Hof guy designed this, and then a breathing kind of routine that kind of gets your blood levels into a more of an alkaline state. So it's pretty interesting.
Can you take me through like what they're?
It's kind of a hyperventilation. So you're breathing heavily for 30 seconds.
Oh, I think I know.
And you exhale, and you just let it be until you need that extra inhale. Okay.
Okay.
But the euphoric effects you get from it, and the feeling you get for it, you're in a better mood. If you're in a bad mood and you go do this breathing exercise, you are in a much better mood. It really is.
There was something like that in Bikram yoga. I think there's a breathing thing like that where. Well,
it's kind of funny you say that. I mean, because breathing is the most important thing we can do, but we don't consciously think about it because it's automatic. Okay, so if we do this and do it consciously, the effects are is something that you actually feel the effects of.
Right.
In yoga, you link your breath to the movements. I try to do that with Syphus, and that's
hard,
something we can get into too. But I mean, it does help
big time
because it's keeping you're not fatigued. You're not lose your breath. So that's something we can kind of get into down the road too. But it is interesting you say that about that Bikram. It is. It's a sort of hyperventilation that they do.
Is there like a certain like duration? Like do it for 5 minutes?
Yeah, you do 3 rounds of this.
3 rounds.
3 rounds of this. Yeah.
30 seconds. Okay.
Yep. Or no, 30 breaths.
30 breaths.
So it's like breathing heavily and then blowing it out.
Okay. So it doesn't last all that long. So somebody who's just trying to get that boost, they're able to do it just in the comfort of their car.
Yeah, they can do it in 2 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Well, so, I mean, talking about, I guess, Syphus and how you utilize breath, I think the unawareness of it is the first, I guess, pitfall is holding on to your breath. If you're doing something like pinned or something like that, you don't realize that you're not getting oxygen to your brain, to your muscles. And then that also kind of pushes it down the line to your next task, and then you're out of breath for the next one and the next one.
And I see that so much.
Yeah.
I see people literally holding their breath doing a plate push.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's a lot of pushing or tasks on the ground with the plate.
Yeah.
They're so focused on, especially when they're more difficult or intricate movements, you're so focused on making sure you're doing it right. You're like, oh shit, I'm not breathing. And
exactly.
it will probably be easier if I breathe.
That's so true. And
that's what slows a lot of people down. I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you that.
Yeah.
It really does. And I see it. I can actually see it being done.
You can tell, for sure.
You can, yeah.
I'm trying to think of there's one I know for a fact. I'm like, Gotta let it out.
Like jigsaw is one that is a lot of people, they're so focused on one, not kicking their shins,
right?
You know, and getting down there, and then it's hard also, and the breath's just gone, and you know they end up having to stop or kick themselves.
You're not consciously aware of that.
Yeah,
nobody is. Yeah, that's the thing. You know,
I would say most people aren't. So for personal training, a lot of the common I don't know, the common ideology or the thought process kind of goes out the window with some of the stuff that we do. If we're doing like regular curls or something like that, it's different. But when you're doing a steady state crawl where everything's moving, it's not like you're doing a concentric phase here and then an eccentric phase there. It's different. So you have to find a way to continuously bring oxygen in. Whereas, I mean, I guess it would be comparable to stand-up paddleboard where you're always doing something. But you kind of need to find the correct rhythm, and almost the exertion is when you should be expiring. So like the shot put, release your breath with it, and then take in the energy or take in the breath as you're going to the plate.
Absolutely. And that's just like
yoga. Yeah, you're linking your movements to the breath.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what I tell the difference here from doing yoga and that exact thing where you're going in and out all in one, and then I can start doing that on certain things here. You're grunt, like when you do bucks. No, but I'm being honest. I do the same thing on certain exercises. I don't do it all the time.
No, but that's you releasing that breath.
It's like a mental thing telling me to do it.
Yes.
I don't need to do it, but
it's
there's certain times where I just do it.
Yeah.
Dude, this is a primal workout. Run, man, do it. Absolutely.
Let it out. Yeah. So I mean that's just a small facet of it. I mean you can break it down into the finite stuff that you could go to each exercise. The breath should be here, the breath should be there. I mean, that would be very, very difficult for, I guess, the pro to teach. But the takeaway is to make sure
you have to learn yourself. Yeah. Breathing through a task, breathing through a plate push, just to get your breath back, little things like that, even, doing a V-step or things like that, just slowly doing it, but breathing through it, you know, that, again, I think consciously most people forget to do. And then they're done with that, and they're exhausted, and they can't get to the other side. They got to walk it or whatever, so.
I mean, like Tyson's, something like that, rotational stuff. The rotational stuff's hard to keep your breath going, and you're doing the same, like symmetrically, you're doing the same thing. So when do you breathe? Like that type of thing. I know you don't like that one.
You don't like Tyson's?
I like it because I don't like it. You know what I mean? So it's like, man, this is hard. It's like skates. Like today, the skates was like, man, these are getting tiring. And then when I say I don't like them, it's that I like the challenge.
That's exactly it. Yeah. And that's what you have to do. You have to say, I don't like that. I'm going to challenge myself until you get to a point, because it's a mental thing too. Yeah. If you don't like something, it's not going to be easy to do. If you like it, it's going to be a little bit easier to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yesterday was a great mental workout with the glued plate uplift as the second circuit.
Yeah, I didn't get to do that.
That's totally mental.
Yeah.
You go into it saying, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm going to have to set it down, blah, blah, blah. You're already done.
Right.
Going through it and just figuring out a way to not put it down is all in your head. And that I saw a lot of people, trying really hard to get through it and finally getting done, and you could tell like it was physical, but it was also mental for them to get through it.
Rewarding.
Yeah.
It's rewarding. Yeah. You reward yourself by doing that. Saying,
for sure.
I try to reward myself by saying I'm not going to stop at a line. I'm going to go all the way to one side. That's my reward. I can rest on that side. But if I stop at a line, I get disappointed. I'm like, because I want to push myself. Yeah. And I feel like I'm stopping. I'm like, wait, I can go with that little extra step.
That's my thing with water down there.
It is a game. Yeah.
Yes. I always set my water down there, and we'll drink it on the way back here. But I'll set it down, and I'll look where I'm gonna drink it. I'll be like, all right, after I do whatever, I'll grab it and go. Sure. And then depending on what happens, I'll be like, all right, well maybe the next time around at that task, I'll get it. And it's the same thing. It's a reward for getting back around to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever it takes, to kind of push yourself to that next level there.
Well, I think we all do this or do whatever. I mean, people who watch maybe don't do this. You do it because it's hard. Yeah. I mean, it is the pleasure in finding, like, overcoming the thing that was difficult, and then finding the next challenge, and then pushing yourself. Like you know, how close can I get to? But like, for me, it's like, if this is, like you said, if this is the hard task, I say I don't like it. Really, those are the ones I like the most, because it's like, oh, here it comes again. But deep down, I'm like, yeah, here it comes again.
Man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's because it's like, no, I want that against the grain, tough challenge, because that's when I feel better afterwards. Like the other day, I was here Saturday, and it was a workout that I'm like, oh, these exercises are gonna be great for me. It was the red run. I'm like, I'm gonna do great on this. I scored like 6:15. And then today's, I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be tough. And I'm like, I don't know how well I'm going to score. I scored about the same thing. I felt way better today than I did on the ones that are, you know, my forte.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm like, that was more of a challenge. That was more mental, and I felt more physically prideful for what I did.
There was a day last week where, you know, someone asked how it was.
Yeah.
And I said, the workout was great. I did fine. I just didn't like any part of it.
Yeah.
I didn't like any of the tasks that were in there. There's just a bunch of tasks I just didn't like. But it still was good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, we need a different, like, almost like a different terminology.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It wasn't fun, or
Yeah.
I didn't like it. It's like, it was challenging. It challenged me, or it exposed my weaknesses.
Well, usually you think when you see stuff you don't like that you wouldn't then like the overall experience.
Right.
Where it's weird. I don't like anything there, but the entire workout was good. It's a weird thing that's going on here sometimes.
It's like pleasure and pain.
Yeah.
It's not like sadistic or anything like that.
No.
It's like, no, we all the people that come here kind of have that mentality. Like, give me the hard thing. Mm-hmm. I want to train hard. I want to play hard. That type of thing. It's almost like you feel life more. You feel the effects of everything more intensely. Mm-hmm. And that's what Syphus is it just delivers a way for you to feel your physicality like smack dab in your face, and you can't ignore it. And then for me, it's like when I leave here, the colors look brighter and things smell better.
It's invigorating.
Yeah.
It does, man. It gets me through my day. I do it in the morning because I can go into my job and I'm more productive.
Yeah.
I work harder, and I feel like I can accomplish almost anything, you know, from doing this.
Yeah,
it's a reward, man.
It really
doing
is.
it in the morning and being done on a day versus a day when you don't do it, it changes my morning sometimes.
Yeah.
And
No,
in more ways than one.
You mean no hash browns?
It's actually no. I only eat hash browns, and they're not hash browns. They're home fries.
Okay.
Which I don't even.
Yeah, there's a variety. I get it, man.
They're not hot
I'm into
dogs.
potatoes too.
They're not hot dogs. Back to these numbers real quick. So on a percentage basis, you don't finish at about the same percentage that I do finish, which is insane. So when I finish, which is not very often, it fires me up even more when I'm done.
Pushes you harder.
I feel a sense of accomplishment, which, you know, no matter, even if you get far in a workout, but even more so when you finish. So do you get that feeling when you finish, or is there or do you get that feeling when you don't finish?
Yeah.
I mean, I get a feeling of accomplishment when I finish.
Yeah.
And when I don't finish, I like that.
That's what I'm
Because
saying.
I do.
Yeah.
I
I've
enjoy
heard
it.
you say like that was a good workout.
Absolutely,
like if you don't finish
man.
it, like that,
I want it to be like I can go the whole 60 minutes, and I want it to be like, okay, there's 2 minutes left. There's no way I'm going to finish 12 tasks. You know, I like that. I do.
Well,
And it pushes me harder at the end.
Yeah.
You know, I want to push myself to my limits, and it's going to push me harder when I know that there's no way I'm going to finish.
So do you come here planning on finishing, like knowing you're going to finish?
I don't really think about it anymore. I don't.
You're just going?
I don't. Yeah. Okay, so I'm seasonal here. You know
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
ask you
So
about
yeah,
that, yeah.
it's
Which is
because
even
in the
more
summertime,
incredible. That's true.
Yeah, my business is busier. I train for paddleboard races. I'm on the water 4 days a week.
Yeah.
And then once my season's over, I come in here, and I came in here originally for cross training. This was my cross training for stand-up paddleboard racing, which I think hands down, and I'll debate it with anybody. This is the best cross training for stand-up paddleboarding because you're getting strength, you're getting endurance, and you're getting stamina. And those
And
are the things
flexibility,
and
too.
flexibility,
Yeah.
which are the things you need for paddleboard racing. So hands down, best. So it's a seasonal thing to me. So I lost the topic now. I forgot where.
No, just talking about. You said you don't think about finishing?
Oh
on the
yeah,
way
so
in?
every season it's changed, for me. Like
Oh,
I mean, you
like,
know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
I mean, it does. It changes. You have a different perspective. This season was a little different for me. I was going through some personal problems. I went through a divorce. I had some serious business problems I had to figure out. So I came in here as an outlet. This was my outlet. I didn't care about scores. I didn't care. I didn't even look at like who placed where. And I'm really glad that, because Susie's awesome, I'm glad she doesn't go on the same time as me, because it's, I don't even look at her scores before I go, because I don't want to know she got here, I need to go here.
Right.
I put my blinders on this season, and I just went, and it was the healthiest thing for me, because it was an outlet for the problems that I was dealing with, in life, and it's the best anti-anxiety drug, I mean, my gosh, man,
yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing what it can do for you. So it helped me quite a bit get through those issues. So this season was a lot different. I didn't care about scores. I didn't care about who was where.
That's the way to go.
And it really is. And I actually had, I felt better about it.
Yeah.
When I'm trying to chase Susie or I'm trying to chase somebody, it
someone
just
else's
throws you
workout.
off, man. It does, And then when you can put your blinders on and just go and not worry about anybody else, I felt so much better.
Well, when you don't have to worry about somebody else, you don't worry about anyone else because you're so far ahead of everyone.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to push myself.
Yes,
I'm competing with myself too. Yeah, exactly.
So
not anybody else.
You're saying you're trying to redefine your limits or push your limits, but the thing of it is that not only by you doing that, you're having me redefine Syphus' limits.
Good.
So,
it's good.
But no, it's great because I'm like, no one's gonna be able to finish this exercise, and then you're finishing it, and I'm like, oh man, okay. So what else do I got to add to it? So it's like, instead of having 90 exercises in a workout, we're having 110, but that's because the athletes that are doing it are also progressing with it, like yourself,
and that'll happen,
and which is great. So we got to always kind of keep that ceiling higher and higher.
You should be
higher.
proud because you're building us to do that.
Oh,
what I'm saying?
I am proud. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's great.
A long time ago, when I was one of the top ones, I was always saying like, "Oh, the day that people are beating me regularly, that's great. That's a good thing."
Exactly, man.
You know what I mean? Because now you're teaching the sport, and people know the movements, and I mean, I love watching it. It's great to see. So let's talk about one thing just to real quickly is the yoga. We were talking about breaths and stuff like that. Now, in the past, we've done kind of like drop-in yoga sessions here. We did it at Harrison, and I believe we also did it at Royal Oak. Well, Brian's also going to start leading a yoga class. I think we're going to do it on Thursday nights, either 7:45 or 8 p.m., just one day a week. And do you want to kind of talk about like what you hope to do with it?
Yeah. Well, I think flexibility is a main thing in this sport, as you guys know. Sure. I mean, you have to be flexible. When I see people doing tasks, and mainly guys, and there's nothing wrong with this. I mean, I'm lucky. When I came in, before I came into Syphus, I was a runner, and I did yoga. So that helped. I had the endurance, and I had the flexibility. So that really helped with me. When I see people doing tasks and they're not flexible, I can see they're hurting and it's not as comfortable. So I think utilizing yoga for the flexibility, for the balance of your mind too, it really is, because your mind can be going a million different directions. I mean, I see guys looking at that guy, looking at that person, looking at that person. It's like, focus on your own game, and I know that for me, yoga's always helped me with that balance, okay, in my mindset, and focusing on just one thing and not 20 different things. So, and then breathing into your muscles, breathing into your tasks. Those are things that we really need, like we talked about earlier about the whole breath thing. And if you can learn to breathe through tasks, you're getting oxygen to your muscles, and you're not as winded, so you can continue and go further. So I kind of want to do something as a yoga class, to balance your mind, improve flexibility, and kind of help with certain tasks too, that may put you in advantage. So the people that do want to do move up.
Will you kind of be using the terminology like the tasks that we use, so you can kind of like, will you try to do that? Or?
I'd like to. Yeah. I mean, we haven't really talked much about it, so
just the way you're talking about it, like, I could help out with certain tasks. I was just thinking maybe.
I just think there's an efficient way to do certain things that people can gain higher scores by doing that. And I just always try to find an efficient way. Just being a teacher, that you always try to find that little extra thing that will help that student. However way you have to explain it to them, because everybody is different. And
that's the thing. You could explain it one way to somebody, and then you try to say it to the next person next to them. They do not get it.
No.
You either gotta show them. You gotta you know, mirror them.
You have to know them too.
You have to know them.
You really
for sure.
do, you know.
Yeah.
I learned that teaching kiteboarding because everybody's different. So
Right.
you have to actually explain to that in the way that they're going to understand the best and the easiest.
And that's really hard here when we see so many people and they're all going at the same time.
Oh, dude! And then they have the Syphus brain because they're tired.
Syphus brain, and or you're one person, you're doing this just to convey one thing. The other person, you can just say it to them.
Yeah.
Other people will ask you. Other people that you want you to get on the ground and show them. So it'll make you ADD as a pro trying to like.
I can't imagine, man.
I
see
nuts.
you guys at times, and I'm like, oh my god.
But then there's other classes that are autonomous, and you just watch, and it's just like, good job.
You want a different song?
Yeah, right. Different song.
and
water.
You know, I'd also like to talk about nutrition too. You know, I think that's very important. In it, you know, and not everybody's like this. I mean, if you want to push yourself to another level, and it's cool if you don't. And everyone's here for a different reason. And yeah, we want to get the workout, but who wants to go further? And if you want to go further, there's certain ways what you can do to your body, what you can eat, what you can drink to kind of help with that. You know, so I've always enjoyed that. You know, the nutrition part, and Susie did a great job. I mean, her blog is incredible. I read that all the time, and I mean, it's how we're supposed to eat, man.
There's a big need for it. It sounds like, I mean, just for the nutrition, like I guess an outlet for people to come to Syphus and be able to either get some knowledge on it or I don't want to say meal planning or anything like that, but I mean, Bill spoke to it last week about like having kind of people here to talk to and that sort of thing, and you can get the right tips. I mean, we don't actually do any meal planning or nutrition stuff just for, you know, we're not qualified to do so, but it doesn't mean that we don't have the people here who can help you.
Right.
You know, so I think it would be a good thing to add to the mix for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something I like to kind of cover, you know, along with the yoga and everything else too. So, you know.
Is there anything that you do fuel-wise, like for before, post, or pre?
Eat clean. Eat clean. No processed foods, man. Okay. You know, I mean, from the earth. You know, fruits, vegetables, nuts. You know, if I'm going to eat meat, I'm going to eat, you know, grass-fed. You know, anything that's, you know, I mean, you see how animals are raised, man. You know, humanely raised, open pastures, grass-fed, things like that. I mean, it's how we're supposed to eat. You know, a lot of the diseases that we're incurring today has a lot to do with what we're eating. Unfortunately, processed foods. I hate to say it, hot dogs too.
I was waiting for that.
Yeah. You know,
don't eat hot dogs.
But you know, eating clean is really the biggest thing you can do for yourself. You know, and dude, less. You're not going to go to the doctor as often. You know what I'm saying? You feel better. You maintain a steady level throughout the day, and you drink pops and even hydration. When I see someone drinking Gatorade, you know how much sugar is in Gatorade?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! I mean, they're going to have a nice they're going to feel great, and all of a sudden, in an hour, they're just going to go downhill. You know. So when you learn to kind of eat properly, and again, it's not an easy thing, and you don't have to. When you base fitness, I always base it with nutrition too at the same time.
Right.
You know. You can, if you can do one with the other, you're going to feel great, and you're going to live longer. As I'm getting older, I'm learning this stuff, you know, and I want to be a good role model for my son too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, too many kids nowadays with the amount of diabetes and the overweight kids and the video games and things like that.
So true.
And so when I had my son, I'm like, okay, this is how he's going to, you know, he's going to be raised eating well and not watching TV. And the funny thing is that grandparents are great for this. So 4 years old, you know, he went to the grandparents' house and they decided, well, we're going to give him Burger King or McDonald's for the first time. Now, he's never eaten McDonald's. He's never eaten fast food.
Wow.
He ate a cheeseburger and ended up throwing it up a half hour later, man. You know, so I mean, it's one of those things where if you can start a kid earlier, you can start early. And again, I was fortunate; my parents always ate pretty healthy, so it helped me kind of push to that level too.
Yeah.
So
I think nurture is huge. I mean, it's creating an environment for them to explore their physical activity.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely huge because once you make it a part that's ingrained, it's like a language. Once you instill that in them, they're going to be fluent in that.
Absolutely,
you know, for the
man.
rest of their
Absolutely.
lives.
I mean, we grew up outside, right? I mean, I don't know how old you guys are,
yeah.
but you know, I mean, I grew up outside. I didn't watch TV, you know, and you know, we did eat McDonald's and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
we ate
you know,
that stuff. Yeah.
But we played. It was active. You know what I'm saying? And it's different nowadays. You know, with our phones and computer screens.
Yeah,
and
that's
it's
true.
Just you know, that takes a lot away from a lot of things in us, personal relationships with people, things like that.
Well, that's, I mean, not to turn on Syphus, but that's another beauty of it, is for us to still kind of be able to have that outlet, to have that sportsman-like feel, still be able to, you know, be a part of a community. I feel like I'm still playing like stickball in the neighborhood.
Yeah, no, you're right, man.
That's exactly
absolutely,
what it is.
Man. No, it's true, man.
And because you get to a certain point, at least prior to Syphus, like you don't really have that outlet. Maybe it's like a bowling league or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it's maybe revolved around drinking or eating or like just a night. But it's, you know, it's for very few people that can go do like men's hockey. You have that kind of outlet, but not something that's so not rigorous, but like so regular that you come to and you see the same familiar faces and you have this kind of common language that you guys can speak and commiserate on. And so,
and this especially. Because it's
sure.
a language most people don't understand.
It is.
They don't do Syphus. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, you get around 4 people. If a group of 6 and 4 people come here, there's 2 people that want to, you know, go jump off a bridge.
Pretty much.
That's the thing. You can alienate that one or two second person. That like, what are they talking about? Like
you can, man.
Gargoyle and a slope of 42, and they're like, no, it's. I feel so bad when you get around that, but at the same time, it's like hard not to talk about it.
Yeah.
When you're with people who understand.
Well, yeah. I mean, we spend. We spend almost half the week seeing each other, you know, doing the same thing. We're going to talk about it.
And you're right. Now, you know, do you ever try to talk to your significant other about Syphus?
Oh, I do. Yeah. Well, I have to, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you're in a different role.
Yeah, she's had enough.
Does she do Syphus? Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. Yeah.
Or like I'll be like ecstatic about like so and so did this, or I was in this workout, I was 4 tasks behind him, and you should have seen these 4 things that I did, and I can't even like explain them to you, but just trust me, it was really good.
right. Exactly.
Or like doing this March Mayhem, like I'm talking about like, you know, figuring out the boulders and all this kind of stuff. It's so hard to it's such a dense thing that it's so hard to like break it down to somebody that's either never done it or done it a few times and knows it. Even like, again, my wife, I've come up with it, and obviously I talk about it all the time, but you really have to do it and do it frequently to really understand it and appreciate it.
And have the same, you know, complaints or little, you know, little quirks. Or
so and so wasn't going down far enough on his you know, frozen crook. Oh, so what the hell does that mean? You know what I mean? Like,
why do you care?
Exactly. Or why is everyone like, you know, upset about this thing? I'm like, no, it's a really big deal, but it, you know, in the grand scheme of things.
I mean, mainly it's Tyson's were in the second thing again.
Right. Well, sometimes I'll listen to our podcast and we're just like, someone who's never ever like done this, and we're talking about like, you know, anaconda and an inchworm, and I was doing Jagger the other day. Like people are like it's so.
I totally thought about that.
Yeah.
If somebody started watching that podcast, they'd be 5 minutes into it, glazed over, done.
Yeah,
they're not going to listen.
Like I said, you have to be a student, and you have to kind of have to know the language in order to decipher what it is we're talking about. But that, again, I think that's what's really cool, is that the more, like, let's say you start off and you said you keep coming, you learn the language, and it starts to click, and it makes more sense. But even the further you go, it's like there's more to learn and more to keep digging through.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what's kept me up at night for many, many years.
I bet, I bet.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about? Is there anything that you want to hit on? I mean, you got some notes.
Well, I always read up on things, and this is a really cool quote, and I forgot to find out where it was from, but it's, if you can change your perception of the task, you can change the actual result.
That's spot on.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Right? So like I was saying earlier, you know, if you can say, okay, because there's certain, like Wicca is, I love all the tasks personally. I mean, yeah, they're hard, but Wicca's, I can't find a flow. I struggle with that.
Okay.
So last year I started saying, okay, Wicca's not that bad. You can do it. You know what I'm saying? And I tried to kind of change my mindset on that. And I still can't do it with Wicca.
Okay. I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what is his nemesis? I really don't know.
No, Wicca is, man. I can't, that's one that I struggle with, man. I just, and I see women doing it, and they have such flow to it. And I'm
there's
like,
a certain,
how are they doing that, man? And I still can't figure it out. I can't. So I just thought it was a cool or a cool, quote, because it's something that if we can change that perception of that task, like, the whole marathon runner smiling, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, it's little things that I always try to try to figure out.
So for me, like kind of bringing all that together is, it's kind of like all right, I see Wick on the board. This is going to be hard for me. I can smile because I know that this is the challenge that I was pursuing.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, this is not going to be easy. And instead of being like, oh, here it comes again, it's kind of like a welcoming smirk. Like, good, I get this challenge. My body's capable to accept this challenge, and here I go.
Exactly.
And you're able to. What's the last part? You're able to overcome the outcome or change the outcome?
Change the actual result.
Change the actual result.
So meaning if you've always struggled with that task and you always hated it, and then you say, okay, you know what, this task isn't that bad. I can get through it.
Yeah.
And then you do it, and you're like, wait, it's not that bad. I'm okay with it.
And then once that's done, then it's that goes back to your head every single time you do it.
Exactly, right.
Your
so you have that perception.
Changed.
Exactly. So that's changed, and having fun with it. I used to love, and there's, of course, I have seasons, but Frankie. When Frankie was here, I had so much fun with him, man. I would have fun on the turf, and even today, I had a blast. I had a lot of fun with it, and when I have fun, and I do better. You know what I'm saying? I really do.
You gotta find a way to enjoy it. I don't care what exercise mode you do. If you don't enjoy it, you're not going to stick with it.
No, and there's days you don't feel great. Right. And you're just, coming in, I'm like,
and that's why you can't beat yourself down if you don't score well or you don't perform well. I mean, like we've talked about this all the time. You're getting a killer workout.
Yeah.
Just take pride in that and
take pride in coming through those doors.
Exactly.
My gosh, the people that come through the doors I mean, you have such a variety of people that are coming through there, and I mean, I give them credit. Coming through those doors and getting onto this turf, man, is because this was designed for elite athletes. That's how you started this as elite athletes, man. And now it's it's come full circle to where you have many different people coming from
all over.
I mean, and that is awesome. It really is. I give people credit just coming through those doors and getting on the turf.
Seriously,
man. Absolutely, man. Yeah,
it is really cool, and it's just to me, it's like all different ages and all different backgrounds and sizes, and it's just.
My pastor's coming here.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's awesome. My pastor
not
is
only
coming
to
here.
come in the door, but then to keep coming.
Yeah.
Too, and it just know that like everyone here's kind of got your back. We all give you credit, and it's just
the camaraderie is great.
It really
is. Yeah. I'm going to say at one time though, when I first started coming in the beginning stages, there was some tension and there's some stuff going on, man. You know? Just I think with. I don't know, and I don't know how far I want to get into it, but you know, there was cliques, you know what I'm saying, and that happens in anything.
I think there's cliques in anywhere you go, and I think you end up being a part of the clique.
You do, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I guess when you're first on the outside, you're kind of coming in here, you're the first one out, so you may be hypersensitive to what's
intimidating.
Yeah, it's intimidating. Everyone's talking that own language that you don't know, and. Everyone knows everybody else, and so especially here, we know if it's your first time, we know it's your first time. Yeah. And so I don't know. And for me, I'll speak about myself. A lot of times, if I'm sitting in that lobby and I'm getting ready to go out on the turf, I'm in a different state of mind. I am thinking about the workout that's ahead. I'm kind of getting my game face on, so I may not be like the most friendly person at that time. After the workout, let's talk. But I like to treat it like I'm getting ready to go do my workout, game face. So. You got to take it with a grain of salt. I think when you're in the lobby. But there's definitely there's people are buddy and you may not know who those people are if you're just coming in the door the first time.
Well, there was a person this morning who was doing their second workout, and she was talking after about seeing the other people working out or make her want to come back. Cool. to get to get better and get comfortable the way we are out there. But two different people at two different times were talking to her about their first times and their experience and stuff like that, and that's just awesome. That's only going to make her want to come back.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's awesome.
You have to be like that.
Yeah.
You have to be that friendly. You have to be that kind of pushing them, motivating them, and congratulating them to come on the turf.
Because I mean, it could be super intimidating to see these maniacs coming back and forth, and you can't breathe.
Yes. And they're thinking that they've never been in my position.
Right.
Yes, we have been in your position.
Yesterday. I mean,
and that's the thing. We all get to that position at some point in the workout.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're all a newbie somewhere in the workout, or just maybe 58 minutes into the workout, where you're trying to just finish it. You know. Right. So it's nuts, but that's the thing. It's just this ongoing discovery of yourself and of the workout itself, and it's fun to see people go through it and then experience it yourself. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. But guys, what I want you to do at the bottom of this thread, what I'm going to do with the video, I'm going to post a link to Brian's surf shop website. You can go there, read more about it, and check it out if you're especially on this side of town. And then also we're going to be posting some information about the yoga class that he's going to be doing here, I believe on Thursday nights. You can read more about it there. And next week's really important. We got our selection Tuesday, I guess is what it's going to be for. Or we're going to do it live.
No, we're going to do it live on Monday.
Live on Monday. We're going to be pulling out of a hat random seedings for the March Mayhem Finals. I think we're going to have quite a few buys. So it's really important how well you guys do in trials this year, because that'll advance you automatically into the second round. And we're going to do it on Facebook Live and on YouTube Live, and then also record it, I believe, for the podcast, so you guys can check it there and see who you're going to be going up against.
Yeah, we'll have our faces on Facebook Live, and then we're going to set up I think YouTube Live link of the bracket, so you can see a live bracket being updated. Just because if we're pulling names and trying to talk, you really won't see where you're at. You won't miss it. So that way you just have, it's like the live looking of the giraffe being born or something on the board, and you should be able to watch them at the same time, I believe. So we'll test it out and figure it out, but live on Monday.
Perfect. Cool. So stay tuned, and with that, you guys, this has been the Form First podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
Awesome.